Hello everyone and welcome back. I have a great matchup for you today. This is some tournament gameplay that was sent in by Soul, and we are at the Battle of the Medicina. This is going to be the mighty Iceni taking on the Arevaci. So we get a good Iberian on Barbarian matchup here. Both of these are definitely unique flavors of faction, and we even have some deer in the middle of the battlefield representing the local deer herd's interest in this one. So let's go take a look at the Arevaci army. Arevaci are kind of a glass cannon, just like the other Iberian factions. They hit hard on the charge, they have high attack, they lack armor and staying power and a longer fight, but you very much want to beware their infantry because it is quite capable. We've got Scutari Painted Warriors. Now that's an interesting one, so let me slow this down for a second so we don't miss any action. Painted Warriors have the Scare. They hit really hard on a charge, 32 bonus, 42 attack. They have no armor for the most part, only 45 here, so very low. But if used properly, they can create a quick route. Behind them are more Scutari, noble fighters, noble cavalry, which we don't see often here from the Arevaci. So this is a very powerful cavalry unit on the part of the Arevaci here. So they've also got some Celt-Iberian cavalry, which is kind of a medium melee cav. I was surprised to not see veteran shield warriors here, since they are one of the kind of better value, but it's Scutari painted ones, Iberian spears, Iberian slingers, 4 Iberian slingers. So interesting army for the Arevaci. That noble cavalry is going to give a big wallop in melee, and then we do have some Cantabrian cavalry here. That's where the name Cantabrian Circle comes from, by the way, for the horse archers and stuff. So these guys certainly capable of the circle, but I don't know if we'll see it here from them. Now for the Iceni, we're going to have some Levy Freeman here in the back for a little bit of protection. By way of horse, I see some veteran riders, a heroic rider general, and more veteran riders on the other flank, so 3 in total. I do see a Celtic Warhound unit, so they did bring the pups to the battle. We've got 3 Briton Slingers up front. Briton Slingers have better attack, better missile damage than just regular slingers, but they are outnumbered. 2 Levy Freeman guarding them up front, and then I see some Chosen Swordband here. That's these very heavy, that's a Heroic Noble. So 2 Heroic Nobles, a Chosen Swordband. Looks like Swordband and Chosen Spearband in the back. An interesting pick with the Spearband. So the heavy infantry for the Britons is definitely going to be superior in terms of armor, and it's also going to hit hard on the charge, and it's going to have better weapon damage, but lower attack. With the exception of the Heroic Nobles, their attack is still quite good. So let's check this one out. Those hounds could be interesting if they were able to get a piece of these Cantabrian cavalry. That actually could be a really nice use for them, potentially, to get rid of those skirmishers. I don't know how well hounds catch those units, though. I haven't tried it in a long time. Skirmishing by the numbers would seem to favor the Arevaci here. And then if I'm just looking at the infantry, it's an interesting one, because I think attack power goes to the Arevaci, staying power goes to the Iceni. But I mean, this noble fighter unit is very dangerous here. It's going to do potentially a lot of damage. That noble cavalry is also very dangerous, easily a match for the veteran riders. As far as the heroic riders, the noble cavalry looks better still to me, so that is a very solid cavalry unit. Let's just see what happens here. We're going to let the battle unfold. So Levy Freeman kind of holding the line up front against these Iberian spears. Most Iberian units do carry javelins. Ooh, that Painted Warrior is taking the full wrath of all of these slingers. So it looks like the Iceni immediately trying to take away some of the infantry power of the Arevaci, which is an interesting play, because the Arevaci kind of already have that problem of being a glass cannon. If they lose a bunch of hit points early, it is not going to be good for them. Look at this, a Celt-Iberian cavalry and Scutari, and we got a very aggressive engagement coming in from the Iceni right away here. Chosen Swordband and Levy Freeman backing it up. The Swordband going to be hit by this Celt-Iberian cavalry, and boy, the action is unfolding quickly here on the left flank of the Britons, the right flank of the Arevaci. And right now, I think the Britons are looking to be in good shape over here. That Chosen Swordband is really going to anchor this fight with all that armor, and the addition of the Swordband here will help a lot. And here are the spears and the veteran riders chasing out the Celt-Iberian cavalry. So I think it's a good start for the Iceni, and again, that's my opinion. We'll see whether I'm right. These painted ones are getting absolutely roasted right now by the slingers, and they have to turn around And without the armor, boy, they are just going to get trashed by that slinger fire. Here comes another unit in their place, which is a Scutari, looking to reinforcement. But, I mean, those Briton slingers made them pay a massive price. There's another painted warrior coming forward that those slingers can do. Britons are shifting to their left. You can see the Britons, Iceni. Britons is still an old habit for me out of Rome 1. Celtiberian cavalry struggling a little bit. Like, it's gotten some kills, but they are not just having a free-for-all back there. So a heavy shift to the left here for the Iceni. That's a shift to the right of the Arevaci. And we've got an engagement here. Now the heroic nobles are going to crush that Scutari and should clear through the painted ones. Look how much damage those painted warriors do on the charge. They are dangerous. But the Arevaci is losing infantry capability very quickly here. Now they still have the noble fighter left, but this does not bode well for the Arevaci, in my opinion. They have kept their skirmishers alive. That's a big deal, but I do think they lost a slinger. So, again, to me, this does not bode well for the Arevaci. Look at this. Their units got left out here, and that Scutari is going to get hit in the back by a veteran rider. That heroic noble just slicing through the Scutari. Scutari, good infantry for the price. They are not going to hold up in a heavyweight fight, though. These guys are a better unit for something like sub-commanders. Now, there's certainly viable units in a battle like this. No one's going to do good when they end up in a fight where they're totally outmatched, which is what happened here. They ended up in a fight where they were outmatched. Celtiberian cavalry coming in to counter those veteran riders who just crushed the painted warriors, and with that low armor, they're going to absolutely get diced up on the charge. And then here comes another veteran rider, and there's nothing ready to protect. The noble cavalry was back there, but these painted warriors are going to get the full brunt of that charge, and that is not going to feel good. I imagine that's a 30-plus entity loss there on that charge, and then it's going to be followed up by a chosen sword band who's going to further the killing because they also have a pretty good charge. One Scutari left over here, and the Warhound handlers are charging towards it. I didn't get to catch where those Warhounds went, but it does look like they may have chased off the cavalry because those units are all chewed up now. So it's very possible that the hounds were released on the cavalry. I don't see dead dogs on the ground anywhere, but somewhere that fight happened. And there's still a chosen spear band back here. And the heroic rider general, very fresh. Arevaci has kind of tried to fall back and keep their units in reserve and keep firing their slingers, but now you're starting to just have a huge numbers disadvantage. As the Arevaci, and like this chosen sword band, for instance, is going to take a nasty charge here, but that armor will make it way more survivable than the painted ones. And that unit's already been in combat too. It's already gotten 100 kills, and you can see it still didn't take anywhere near the damage level. Armor is a big deal, and mass is a big deal when it comes to resisting charges. Man, look at that. That noble cavalry just eating it from the Briton slingers, and they do have decent armor piercing. So that expensive cavalry unit, only 12 kills on it. The Iberian slingers have just been firing away the whole time, but they haven't managed to get the same value, I feel like, that the Briton slingers did. And I'm not even saying that like in terms of kills or monetary or whatever, but those Briton slingers started hurting the painted ones, and the Arevaci, although they had strong infantry, they didn't have infantry to spare. And so I think that was a really cool call by the Iceni player here to start ripping into that infantry and causing a weakness there that then threw the Arevaci's army off balance early by leaving them without all the infantry tools that they needed to win that fight. For the Arevaci, they have to really crash into a fight quickly and decisively. They don't want to get left in these like kind of slow grind out engagements that develop slowly. They need to hit hard and hit fast. It is okay if they sit back and skirmish and try and take control of the skirmishing first, but their units cannot get skirmished against for very long because they don't have the armor to withstand many missile hits. It makes them very vulnerable to like archers and slingers in that regard there. So like a faction with a bunch of archers, for instance, would be quite dangerous to these Iberian factions, just because the Iberian factions don't have the armor to resist all that damage from the archers. So that is going to be a solid victory for Iceni. And I'm not saying that to insult the Arevaci player. I probably would have lost really badly had I been fighting the Iceni player here, so that's not meant as an insult. Just complimenting the Iceni player here and saying GG there. So let's end the battle and take a look at that one. So Sol was playing as the Iceni, and Jason AH here playing as the Arevaci. And Jason, I mean, good job. It is not easy to play against Sol. It's a tough matchup. And that's an interesting matchup there. I do like the interesting picks of infantry here. The Painted Warriors with that scare effect could be really handy at helping to route through the Iceni quickly. So I do like the build. He had good slinger coverage here, and I even like that pick of the really powerful Noble Cavalry. It didn't end up getting to play into the exact role he needed it to, but I could see why, again, you go for a pick like that. I think Sol just played the cards right here, and when he started that engagement early, things just started going in his favor. And Rome 2, like many Total War games, is one of those things where a small loss early can start to tilt the whole battle and make it difficult. So anyway, GG to both players, like I said. Appreciate Sol and Jason here. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all soon.